in our last session we have completed with double acting reciprocating pump. Then after we have seen centrifugal pump. In today's session we will see classification of a centrifugal pump. Then after we will see bucket pump, then van pump, gear pump, how it's gonna operate. Okay, this is Faizan Kagbi and I welcome you all to our lecture series of basic mechanical engineering. So let's begin. Now, types of centrifugal pump. So first it is classified according to the type of casing. So we can say based on that, first type is a volute type pump, second type is a vortex type pump, third one diffuser type pump. Okay, now second classification is based on number of stages. So obviously single stage centrifugal pump, and second type will be a multi-stage pump. Okay, so in a multi-stage pump there are two connections. So impeller in series connection and second is impeller in parallel connection. Okay, now let us see first type, that is based on a casing in that volute type pump. So volute type pump is the simplest type of a pump. So the working is same as we have discussed during the centrifugal pump. So the normal pump which we have studied is called a volute type pump. In that the casing is of a spiral shape, which you can see, in which impeller and casing area is that is an area between impeller and casing is increasing gradually. Okay, so this pump casing is called a volute casing. Okay, now let us discuss that in this type of a centrifugal pump, impeller is surrounded by a spiral casing which is called a volute chamber. Volute chamber provides a gradual increasing area to discharge pipe so that pressure increases at a leaving side. That is working on a principle of Bernoulli's equation and continuity equation. That is, if area is reducing, if area is increasing, velocity is going to reduce. And according to Bernoulli's equation, we know the Bernoulli's equation, that is pressure into volume PV plus half mv square is equal to constant. So it is a summation of pressure energy and kinetic energy. So if one form of energy is reducing, so another form of energy will increase, right? So because of an increment in an area, we can say velocity reduces. Now if velocity reduces, which means kinetic energy is going to reduce. So according to Bernoulli's equation, we can say pressure energy is going to increase. So that is a concept which has been used in our centrifugal pump. Now this type of pump is used very commonly due to simplicity in construction, but the overall efficiency is less due to a greater eddy losses. So whenever a liquid leaves the impeller and strikes the casing, so there is a formation of eddy currents, that is we would say whirl formation takes place. Because of that, bubbles are formed within a liquid, and if bubbles are formed, that is air bubbles, so we can say the discharge of liquid will be affected, that is a low quantity of water will be discharged to a delivery tank. So to avoid that, the second type which we are going to use is a vortex type pump. In this pump, the limitation of volute type pump is going to be avoided. Okay, so how? So we are going to make use of a vortex chamber. You can see it is provided concentric with the impeller. It is arranged eccentric with respect to the casing. So let us see how it's going to operate. So it is a modification of a volute type pump. In this casing, vortex chamber is inserted between an impeller and a volute chamber. This arrangement reduces the eddy losses, that is whirl formation are totally reduced. Okay, the water leaving the impeller moves freely into this vortex chamber and its velocity head is gradually converted into pressure head. Okay, now last type, that is a diffuser type casing. So in this casing, what is the arrangement? So we would say a additional diffuser ring is placed after the impeller blades. Okay, so as you can see, the impeller is already provided, but there is an outer portion which is written as a diffuser, and there is a blades which are called a diffuser blades written by guide blades. Okay, so diffuser is further going to increase the pressure energy. Why? Because the rings, or we can say the blades of a diffuser, are going to remain stationary and arranged in such a way that its area is increasing gradually away from a center. Which means if there is an increment in the area, velocity is going to reduce, and if velocity reduces, then pressure is going to be increased. So high pressure head can be obtained by making use of this diffuser type arrangement. Let us see that. In this casing, you can see impeller is surrounded by a series of guide blades called diffuser blades. Okay, the passage of a diffuser is gradually increasing, as I have told, and that velocity of water falls and a pressure increases. In this type of a pump, more pressure head is developed compared to a volute and a vortex type casing. Okay. Now let us see next classification based on stages. That is first single stage centrifugal pump. Now in this stage we can say it has only one impeller and it is mostly used for lower head and lower discharge. So when a lower head and lower discharge is required, so in that case centrifugal pump with a single impeller is used, and that arrangement is called a single stage centrifugal pump arrangement. Whereas in a multi-stage centrifugal pump, multi-staging is done by adding more than one impeller, which means by adding impellers of an identical construction either in a series connection or in a parallel connection. Okay, now next topic which we need to see is a priming. So we know that priming is the process of filling suction pipe, casing and discharge pipe up to a discharge valve with a liquid before starting the pump. So basically priming is a process of removing air from these three passageways, that is a suction pipe, then pump portion and certain up to certain level of a delivery pipe. Why air is required to be removed? So we can say because of a presence of air, the suction head is going to be reduced. Why? Because density of air is lower, that is around 1.25 kg per meter cube. So the suction pressure exerted to remove air will be lower according to our formula of pressure, that is rho gh. If rho is lower, so suction pressure exerted to remove water will be lower. So first of all, our first target will be to remove air from that pump arrangement, and after that we are going to start our pump. Okay guys, so this process of removal of air is called a priming, and this can be done by filling the passageways by a liquid which has to be raised into a delivery tank. Okay, now the method of primings are first manual priming, second priming with a vacuum pump, third priming with a jet pump, and fourth one is priming with a air separator. Okay, now next topic is a bucket pump. So let us understand its construction. So as you can see, a cylindrical portion is shown. Within that there is a piston. So that piston is provided with a bucket in a middle, which means the piston is hollow, okay, from a center. In that I have placed a valve. So you can see a T shape is shown. That T-shaped valve is called a bucket valve. Okay, now that piston is connected with a rod, that is called a piston rod, and other end of a piston rod is connected with a handle. Okay, now the handle is hinged with respect to a linkage which is connected with the cylinder. Okay, which means the handle can perform this motion, if you can understand, right, this motion. So when a handle is moved in a downward direction, so with respect to hinge, this portion of a handle will move in an upward direction, right? That is, a piston rod will be lifted in an upward side, which will lift the piston. Okay, now on a bottom side of a cylinder there is a valve that is called a suction valve which is provided, and on a top side, on a top right side, you can see there is a pipe that is called a delivery pipe, to which a valve connected is a delivery valve. So construction is very simple. Let us understand how it's going to operate. So we can say there are two strokes. Remember, one is a upward stroke, second one is a downward stroke. Upward stroke means upward motion of a piston, and downward stroke means downward motion of a piston. Remember in this way. Okay, now in an upward stroke what is going to happen? So I am going to push the handle. Remember, see over here, you have to see carefully my actions. So I am going to push the handle in a downward direction. When I am going to push the handle in a downward direction, so with respect to a hinge, that is a linkage, piston rod will move in a upward direction. As a result of which, on a bottom side of a piston, vacuum will be created. Okay, what is going to create? Vacuum, that is a zero pressure. As soon as a vacuum is created, due to pressure difference, the suction valve will open and water will begin to enter into a cylinder. Okay, at the same time, on the top side of a piston, pressure will be exerted on water which will have been sucked during a previous stroke. At the same time, on top side of a piston is going to exert pressure on a water which has been transferred from a bottom side of a piston to the top side of a piston. So we are going to see how the water has been transferred. At present, just visualize that on a top side of a piston, water will be transferred into a delivery tank, which means on a bottom side suction will take place, at the same time on a top side delivery will take place, that is a delivery valve will open and water will be discharged into a delivery tank. Okay, when this has happened, so when a piston has moved in an upward direction, that is during an upward stroke. Okay, now next stroke is a downward stroke, that is a piston is going to move from upside towards the downside. In that case, what I am going to do to a handle, so I would say I am going to move the handle in this upward direction. Okay, so when I am going to move the handle in an upward direction, with respect to the linkage, piston rod will move in a downward side and with that piston will also move in a downward side. So what is going to happen? So at that time, pressure will be exerted by a piston on a downward side. Okay, suction valve will be closed, but bucket valve which is provided within a piston will be lifted up, as a result of which, due to pressure difference, water on a bottom side of a piston will be transferred on a top side of a piston when a piston moves in a downward direction. Okay, remember, during a downward stroke, what is happening? So transfer of water is happening from bottom side of a piston towards the top side of a piston through bucket valve. So the question comes that when a delivery and when a suction takes place, so you would say that a delivery takes place during an upward stroke as well as a suction takes place during an upward stroke of a piston. That is when a piston moves in a upward direction. Okay, so let us see that. As you can see, I have written this is a single acting vertical reciprocating pump. It consists of a cylinder and a piston with a bucket type valve. Intake stroke. So we can say that piston moves up. Intake, which means intake of a water. You can also say this stroke as an upward stroke. Okay, the bucket valve remains closed. During this stroke, liquid enters into a cylinder through the suction valve, and simultaneously at the same time, the liquid above the bucket is forced into a delivery pipe through the delivery valve. Discharge stroke, that is which means a downward stroke is this. So piston moves in a downward side, bucket valve opens, and a liquid transfer from a bottom side of a piston to the top side of a piston in a cylinder. So the working is very simple. You need to just explain two strokes, that is upward stroke and a downward stroke. Now let us see our next step for pump, that is called a vane pump. So let us understand its construction. So as you can see, at the center there is a rotor provided, and that rotor is actually mounted on a shaft that is called a pump shaft, which means as a pump shaft rotates, the rotor is going to rotate. Now this rotor is enclosed in a pump body that is called a casing, cylindrical casing. Okay, that casing, again we are going to say, that is going to remain stationary. Okay, now within that rotor you can see there are 4 slots provided, that is 4 grooves are formed, and within that grooves we have placed the plate that is called a vane. Okay, now that plate can slide within that groove, inside and outside in this way. Okay, so this motion, sliding motion, these vanes or plate are going to perform within the grooves provided in a rotor. Okay, also further you can notice that rotor and casing are arranged eccentrically. That is, the area between a rotor and a casing is gradually increasing. Okay, so that arrangement is going to be used to increase the pressure of a liquid inside a pump. Now, which type of a liquid this pump can transfer? So this is the type of a rotary pump. So this pump can only transfer a highly viscous liquid. For example, vegetable oil, okay, then grease. So all these portions that is having a highly viscous liquid can be transferred by making use of this pump. Now, as you can see, an inlet portion is shown on your left side of a screen and outlet portion is on the right side of your screen. Now how it's going to operate? So let's begin with that working. Then we are going to first supply mechanical power to a pump shaft. It is going to rotate at a high speed. The rotor is going to rotate. Now at the inlet side, liquid is going to enter into a casing. It will be first trapped in between the casing and a rotor. Okay, once it gets trapped, as we know that rotor is rotating. Okay, so what is going to happen? So further, as it rotates in a clockwise direction, the liquid is going to be trapped between the casing, rotor and 2 vanes which are going to be in contact with the casing. Okay, because of a centrifugal force which will be exerted on a vane. Now we can say that liquid has been trapped. It can only move further if rotor is going to move in a further clockwise direction. So as a rotor rotates in a clockwise direction, it will transfer that liquid to the other side of a casing. Now if you notice carefully, other side of a casing, the volume between that entrapped portion, that is between rotor, casing and 2 vanes, is reducing gradually. Because of a reduction in a volume, can I say that initially the volume was higher, which means more amount of liquid has been entered, and at the final stage, at the outlet, volume is reduced. So what is going to happen? So in an entrapped space, it is going to exert a pressure on a liquid, which means a compression of a liquid will take place. And if a compression has been taken place, so we can say pressure energy of a liquid will be increased at the outlet of this vane pump. So this is how this vane pump is going to convey a liquid from one side to other side. Also, it has a characteristic that it can only transfer a liquid in a horizontal direction. We cannot use this pump for lifting water from an underground surface to a terrace, that is in a vertical direction. It cannot convey. It can only convey in a horizontal direction. Why? Because it cannot generate sufficient pressure energy. Okay, so for conveying liquid from one place to another place, it is suitable. Okay, so let us see. So as you can see, I have written, it consists of a stationary casing and a cylindrical rotor. The cylindrical rotor containing a sliding vane which are fitted to a radial grooves of a rotor. The vanes are free to move away from a center of a rotor due to a spring action, or we can say due to a centrifugal force exerted on these plates or a vanes. This makes a tight contact between a vane and a casing during rotation. Now when a rotor rotates, the liquid enters from a suction side. The liquid gets entrapped in a pocket between a vane and a casing, and this liquid is carried by the vane and finally discharged to a delivery side. Okay, now let us see next type of pump, that is called a gear pump. So as you can see the arrangement, one of the gear is called a driving gear, another gear will be a driven gear. So let us consider the case that the top gear is our driving gear which is connected to a pump shaft, and bottom gear is our driven gear. So if for example driving gear rotates in a clockwise direction, so with respect to that, driven gear will rotate in a anti-clockwise direction. Okay, now inlet is shown on your left side as you can see, and outlet is on a right side. Now when a driving gear is rotating in a clockwise direction, we can say that liquid is going to be trapped between the two teeth and a casing which is outside covering the teeth, right? Similarly, on the bottom side, liquid will be trapped between the two teeth of this driven gear and a casing which is covering that teeth, right? Now that liquid is trapped between the two teeth and a casing. It can only move further in a clockwise, that is in a further outlet direction, if this gear is going to rotate. Okay, so finally because of a motion of a teeth in a further direction, it is a driving side, liquid is discharged to the outlet, and similarly from a bottom side, liquid has been trapped in a pocket between two teeth and a casing, so it will rotate in an anti-clockwise direction and it will transfer a liquid to the outlet portion. One thing which you need to keep in mind is that liquid can only be transferred through the periphery of these gears. It cannot transfer from a place where the two gears are in meshing position. Okay, there is a airtight seal, so remember it is going to transfer only through the periphery. Okay, so let us see that. So you can see it consists of two or more gears which are in meshing. Okay, the rotation of this gear provides a pumping action. When the pump is primed, the liquid fills in a space between the teeth of a gear at a suction side. When a driving gear rotates, other meshing gear also rotates in the opposite direction. A negative pressure is created on a suction side and a rotation of due to the rotation of a gear. Okay, due to a pressure difference in a fluid tank, and a suction pipe causes a fluid runs from a tank into a pump. During a further movement of a gear, this entrapped fluid which is trapped between a two teeth and a casing will be pushed to the discharge side. Okay guys, so with this we are completing with our chapter of pump. In our next session we will start with our new chapter, so until then stay tuned and thank you all.